wind. So I'm going to take this. My goal here is to make everything symmetrical and parallel to the wind. So when it comes up, it's perfect. It doesn't come up with an induced turn, nothing like that. You know, we have all day to stand around and paraweight. So what's the rush on the takeoff? And also, the type of launch you decide to do is part of your risk management plan, which we can talk more about if this video doesn't, you know, work. The sound doesn't work. So I like to keep my tips kind of in, clear. Mine are full of sand, so luckily they stay down. Some people find that their ultralight wings start rustling or picking up. Let me think. The only thing you can really do is try to go perpendicular to the wind. Parallel to the wind. And that's going to take it out of the direct airflow is not going to be going in anymore. But basically the main things are, we're reducing the total power on takeoff by doing this. It's kind of, this is more of a horseshoe rosette. It's up to you really. Right now it's pretty calm. I have the wing more accordion style folded when it's windier. The reason why is that way a little gust doesn't come and blow up one of the cells and the whole thing starts inflating and breathing. You know, that can happen and it gets kind of scary. You don't want the wing to decide when to launch you. You want to be the one to decide. So basically this is the technique I was saying, Paul. I'm going to go to the trailing edge, and if this was concertinaed, the full trailing edge would be pretty clean and out, but it's not. So I'm just going to pluck it by hand, and usually I can pull on the brakes, but what I'm doing here is making sure that I can see the full lines extended and make sure there's no twigs, no line overs. It can get kind of messy if you're connected like I am making it right now, but that's fine. We can figure that out. So let me just get this out of the way. Riser's out of the way. Let me just get this punched up for me, for my own convenience. So basically that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to clear the trailing edge, making sure there's no sticks. You know, I just had a friend recently launch in Arizona with an actual stick, making some brake input in his trailing edge, and he said it was pretty miraculous that he didn't fly into the hill. And he also, another hazard from having those cameras around, the narcissistic. So yeah, wind is blowing in a little bit more from the west now, which is kind of nuts. So all I'm gonna do is bring this over. Let's get that symmetric to the wind flow. Yeah. And notice how I'm holding all my lines up. If I have to walk over, I am always rosetting it and picking them up. I don't want to introduce any more sand, any more wear and tear. That's where most of the degradation of the materials comes from, especially being from Arizona, is that rock, that hard granite, and it's powderized, it's pulver sand, and it gets into your wings and in between the woven lines, and it just deteriorates it much faster than it's rated for. But yeah, these are just a couple things that you don't really know to ask or consider unless someone tells you, and you know, we all have to find out in some way. So this is the technique. I have all the lines and I gently pull them towards myself. Why am I doing that? To release the slack without inflating the wing. Wow, I can't believe it's on. So it's not totally perfect, like symmetric is what I mean, but that's okay. But I'm more experienced, so if you're on a limited launch space and width and length, it's something you want to consider. And always be watching behind you to make sure there's not like 40 miles per hour dust devil or huge wall coming at you. So these are all just things to consider. So as I'm walking out, look, you can see already I have like, these are old lines and I really already get like tension knots. So this is what I mean by raking. Just gently pulling and taking those little knots out. Like, I don't want that. I've had a lot of times those little loops just grab onto another line and create this insane tension knot. And you know, if while I'm up here and I'm starting to lay my wing out, I see little things that are going to get in my line. Obviously I'm not going to put this in my mouth. Sometimes I do. I put the twigs in my mouth and I leave it there until I launch, and I don't know, maybe it's not the best or like most hygienic idea, but yeah, I just try to get these things out of my way. A lot of times when I throw it here at the beach, the wind just blows it right back into my airfoil. So this is what I mean about raking. See all this mess? Look at this. If I was just to pull it tight and walk all the way backwards right now like this, it looks like crap. And not only that, look, I'm pulling on the A's, so I could inflate it and there could be something wrong. That's what I'm trying to avoid. All right, so let's go back up. Oh no, I have to go check my lines, but I'm actually raking and organizing it when I go back and forth like this, which is cool for me. This means less work, but this isn't what I would be doing on a launch over and over again, just introducing sand and whatnot into my unsheathed airman lines, not my... Ruby! Okay, sweet, so I dropped all my lines. I'm gonna make sure there's nothing tangled around my brakes before I extend it. No line overs, of course. So I'm gonna do it one more time. So here we are, somewhat into the wind mostly. So I'm pulling the lines and I'm raking them. You see? And why I'm doing this is because I can clear out all these little tension knots without having to extend it and then realize I have them and walk all the way back and do the whole back and forth thing, or have to ask someone to clear that tension knot. So you see, I'm just gently pulling. I'm just pulling right here. I'm like, what the heck is that? So I'm pushing forward and it's raking. So you just pull it, and you just slowly take out the tension. And you want to make sure while you're doing that, you don't accidentally walk too far like that. Because if you do, you might inflate the wing. And if you don't have your hands in the brakes, which I should have had, you know, I should have been doing this whole thing actually with my brakes in my hand. My bad. Jackson Hole paragliding. My old instructors. Sorry guys. And so there's that. And now you can see, let's clean that up. Now you can see the A's are on top. That's great. So I have my hands in my brakes. I have the A's on top. I'm gonna get the B's, they're clear. So I just wanna open up the wing just enough to where I can see the differentiation between the right and the left side of the wing. So that's as much as I'm opening it up. And the windier it is, the more closed I'm gonna have the whole configuration. If it's super windy, I'm just gonna put it into the Cobra. Well, not me, but someone much better than me. So yeah, there's just little stuff there, but we already kind of gave it a good yank, so we know it's clear. Just sometimes looks like that. Maybe. Yeah. Oops. That happens too, and then make sure your brakes don't fall around. So yeah, you're just kind of doing that. And for an inflation, you know, before I inflate, I make sure to look behind me before I start trying to inflate it, because if you do that and it's too windy, there might not be a going back. And launch is really one of the most dangerous parts about flying. It's where you're closest to the ground, so never rush, always take your time. For me, this wing tends to have the tips come up first, so I'm going to try to avoid that. If I can't tell what the wind's doing, I can also throw some sand up. Wind will take it and then I can see where to stand. But I think I'm pretty square on, so my hands are on the brakes. Some people like to take a little loop around for more advanced wings if the tips tend to fly forward. That doesn't work with this wing. I tried. It did work with my Mentor 6 Lite, but this is how we inflate. So when I inflate, noted if this video is capturing my body, I'm not standing straight up. Well, I am right now because it's light. But really, before I inflate, you want to keep it low, keep your feet planted, be in an athletic position. You know, this is really the bread and butter of what it takes to fly at high winds. So I'm going to look behind me before I try to inflate it, and I'm going to inflate it and see what happens. Or, you know, I can do it even slower. I can inflate it partially, or maybe not. So before I try to inflate it, and I'm gonna inflate it and see what happens. Or, you know, I can do it even slower. I can inflate it partially, or maybe not. So, alright, we're gonna rosette it up again and walk somewhere better. I don't wanna. So keeping my brakes in my hands and rosetting it up for every set. And there's nothing wrong with the resets. It's the best thing you could do for yourself. But yeah, there's just different ways to do different things, and you just got to try a few of them out until you find one that fits your style, your weight, your wing size, your goals, your capabilities and comfort levels, and work from there. You know, no one's going to be good at everything at once. Oh, it's a cool piece of glass. Ah! So yeah, we're gonna just try to set up counter to the wind again. I'm assuming there's gonna be a wind shadow since it's straight south. And I probably have to open it up more, but I'm not going to for the sake of what I was trying to say. So here we are. Look, we're doing the raking, a little doop-de-doo. And I rake that out of there. Get out. Just trying to find order, you know? That's all we're doing is just folding laundry, making order of the chaos. And we're good. Okay, I think we're good. So, oh. Is that a riser twist? Looks twisted, I think. Alright, anyways, we'll try it out. We'll see what. Nope, the flow tag is on the top. Just gonna looky-loo. Alright, so we're gonna inflate it. Look how low I am. Alright. Look, you stay low. This is the athletic position. Let's set it down. Sweet. So, grab the rears, whatever. It's not going to go anywhere right now. It's pretty mellow. But yeah, let's inflate it again. So yeah, you don't have to make a whole stink about it. Just keep your body really low, and if you have to run to the wing to depower it while it's coming up, do that. Don't just keep your feet planted and hope for the best. It's not good for anyone. Especially you. If you're on a tight launch, it's, you know, in Arizona, there's lots of boulders, rocks, the environment is really, really harsh. Really, really degrades wings. And yeah. So a few other things on high wing kiting. If it does start to inflate and you're like, oh shoot, you have your A's in your hand, grab your rears and pull them back. And then that's gonna keep the trailing edge pinned. Release it a little, it'll really stick it, but don't let go all the way, just a little bit. So that's something that a friend told me in Arizona. I think it was Andrew Rahill. Anyways, yeah, let's do another inflation, and hopefully I can teach you guys. Yeah, so see, I'm running towards the wing. I'm keeping my center of gravity low, and I'm kind of in the rotor right here. So yeah, I just want to nice put it down. Let's try it one more time. Breathe out, look behind you, beautiful Ruby. There's wind lines coming in, so it's picking up a bit. This might be the last one. You can put an input, let it fly, couch. And everything happens way faster when it's windy, way faster when it's hot. especially hot and humid, high altitude. You know, different conditions present different variables, and each launch, each day is always going to be different. So it's just having a lot of different tools in your tool bag that you're comfortable with, and an arsenal of things you can use afterwards. So let's try it one more time. And let me just do a really slow inflation if I can, with just the center A's, if I can. Look, I'm going under the wing, I'm keeping that low CG, it's up. So yeah. And then you can go kind of hands up. The wing wants to do all the work. You don't have to do shit. You just have to be there and make sure it doesn't go too much to the side. You don't put too much inputs in and deflate it. That's it. It's easy. I think it's easy if you don't get blown away. So yeah, it's really important to get comfortable and just be able to like move when you want to move and choose when you launch. That's full pilot control. The pilot is deciding. If the wing is deciding what you're doing, you're just a passenger. So we don't want that. You want to be in full control when you're doing something like this and be enjoying it, really. So yeah, that was a really short demo because I'm super tired and Ruby almost got into a dog fight. So that's what I got for you. And thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. And if you guys want to come fly, I'll be here at the dunes for a long time. I'd love to see some familiar new faces out here, especially girls. Way too many dudes, as much as I love you guys. Peace, thanks, bye.